All right, let's bring in now defense and trial attorney Misty Marris. Misty, great to see you. So as we hear these details of this case in Virginia, what are some of the blanks that you think need to be answered right now?
Well, first of all, chilling allegations and that arresting affidavit. But keep in mind the charge that he was arrested on relates to concealment of a body. And so no one at this point has been charged with her murder. That the reason is likely because, as you said, Fred, there are some blanks that need to be filled in, namely, where is the body? That is the single best piece of evidence when making an arrest and ultimately bringing in charges against an individual for a death. The body tells you the manner, the means, and the time of death. So at this point, a body has not been found, but it's likely that the police and investigators and prosecutors are waiting to see what other evidence comes up before actually making an arrest for murder. But at this point, there's evidence that a body was concealed in that home. That's what we saw in the arresting affidavit.
Wow, extraordinary. All right, let's turn to another case. This has been a very high-profile case for a while now, the Tyree Nichols case. 5 former Memphis police officers were charged in the violent beating death last year, and now a second officer, Emmett Martin III, has changed his plea to guilty in federal court on charges of deprivation of rights, witness tampering, and obstruction of justice. What do you suppose has happened that there would be a plea deal here or pleading guilty?
Right. So we're on the precipice of this trial. This is the federal trial relating to the violation of civil rights and the cover-up that happened afterwards. So we know that one officer, as you said, Fred, pled guilty back in November. That guilty plea comes with some conditions, namely helping the prosecution, that you'll testify at trial, cooperate, provide evidence and information. So that is key and critical evidence, especially when it comes to the officers and what happened after, which relates to that obstruction, because a lot of this is on video, as we've all seen in a very disturbing video. But that's going to trigger other defendants to really sit down and think about whether or not they are going to enter the same plea. We're seeing this, the trial's about a month away. 3 more defendants who are going to move forward to trial, but the judges said they have until Monday to potentially enter a plea. I think we might see some more plea deals coming down the pike.
Oh, really? And those 3, we're talking about Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, Justin Smith. They are awaiting trial, but you say there is that deadline if they want to plea. What would be the circumstances that they with their attorneys would be weighing as to whether to proceed, with not guilty, or, whether to plead?
Right. So the attorney is likely sitting with their clients now, and they're looking at all of the evidence. At this point, the trial is next month. That means all of the evidence that prosecutors have to prove their case has been exchanged. And the defense attorneys are going to go through that with these individuals and say, okay, here is what might happen at trial. A jury could find you guilty. You could face life. And so balancing the weight of the evidence and making that assessment about the likelihood of prosecutors being successful at the end of the day with 2 cooperating witnesses who were defendants at one time, that is going to be a serious discussion about whether or not to take that plea deal to limit the amount of time that would ultimately be served. So those are all the factors that they're thinking about this weekend.
All right, fascinating. Misty Marris, thank you so much. Always great to see you.
Thank you, Fred.